They were very fussy. So this was taking me forever. Finally, baby has calmed down. And I have to sneeze.
Oh, dude, this sucks. No. Been there.
And so I try to block the sneeze.
What did you do
and
to try to block it?
And I threw my back out while holding the baby in the rocker. Because I was trying to stop my sneeze.
So you swallowed it? You swallowed a sneeze?
Oh, it hurt so bad.
Welcome to The Cover, where three Hoosier friends judge books by their covers and movies by their trailers.
That's right. I'm Brett, here with my fellow Indiana natives, Remington and Marcus, ready to dive into the stories that keep us up all night and occasionally put us to sleep.
Whether you're a bookworm, movie buff, or just here for the witty banter, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll dissect a different book or movie, sharing fun facts, hot takes, and moments that make Marcus cry. Spoiler alert, we're not experts, but we're definitely opinionated.
From literary masterpieces to blockbuster flops, nothing is safe from our snarky reviews and wild tangents. Who knew Hoosiers could be this entertaining?
So grab your popcorn and reading glasses because we're about to embark on a hilarious journey through the pages and screens that shape our lives. Or at least our weekends.
You're listening to The Cover. Let's get the show on the road before one of our kids wakes up.
I feel like your frying water was pretty great.
I mean, you can fry water.
It's called boiling.
It's called boiling, yeah.
You can also, fried water.
Well, I mean, we did kind of go right into what's new. New studio.
New studio, new digs.
So
and
cool.
I've got the grass wall like Brett wanted, like from Sangrita.
Yeah.
Well, I first where I really got the inspiration was the pyramids. The lobby at the pyramids is not fake grass; it's actual moss that they have to water.
Oh,
Wow.
it's live.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I'm not gonna find out, but it was really cool, and that's exactly like that with a neon sign inside of it, which is I'm sure the plan. I'm assuming where the sign would be is in that grass wall. Yeah,
It's we got options.
Oh, I think it's gonna be super cool. Really good.
But yeah, this looks cool. It feels good. It feels like we're professional now. Do you guys know how many episodes, the drop off for podcast episodes, where you're in the top 1%?
I'm guessing 6.
6 episodes. Most people don't make it to 7.
Yeah.
That's not the drop. That's not the 1%ers. The 1% of podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is the biggest drop off.
Oh,
so it's past 6.
I'd say
100.
31.
Close. 21. Only 1% of all podcasts make it past 21 episodes.
That makes sense.
We're actually still not there.
But I have something sweet planned for the 50th. So
really? That reminds me. It's my birthday this week. It's Brett's next week, and we had talked about whoever's birthday it is gets to pick the next cover.
Oh yeah.
Episode. So I've got my pick ready to go.
Yeah.
I'll mention it at the end.
We need something new.
That's our new.
What's next? Well, what's next? I need something.
That's the last question.
So
yeah.
That'll be helpful.
Oh, what's next? Yes.
I'll let you announce what's next.
Right now?
At the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen you from this angle during the show.
I'm looking at Marcus a lot and your leg. I feel like are the two things I typically look at quite a bit. A lot of Marcus, how's your new spot? You're kind of in the middle now. I feel like you're gonna be able to pull this off.
Oh yeah.
Can you handle it? Can you handle the heat?
We'll see.
Yeah, but if you have stuck with us through the we'll call it a less than stellar audio performance for a couple episodes. We're rolling.
We think this is it.
We figured it out.
Well, we found a button.
Found a button that had not been hit.
We found a button.
lot of post-production.
We're frying water now.
We're frying with water.
If you were listening to this thinking, man, they've got a whole team, you are listening to the team right now. We got everything.
I have a new favorite phrase that I'm just going to start saying. I know this because Tyler knows this. I'm just going to start saying that from now on. Did you guys catch that in the movie? I'm seeing some blank stares. I know this because Tyler knows this.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first hint in the movie.
So that, and since you're diving right into that, his reference to Jack.
Mm-hmm.
So is his name Jack?
So
I got it. It's coming.
So
Okay,
here's
all
what's
right.
crazy is I was just looking this up because I was trying to think of what to do with my 9 words, and I was like, wait,
What's his name?
He's in.
I was like,
he's-
what's his name?
He's in the jacket as narrator.
and he's listed as narrator on IMDb.
Yeah. But Norton calls himself Jack officially. You don't actually ever find out what the author thinks his name is until Fight Club 2, because this comes from a novel.
There's a Fight Club 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's not a Fight Club 2 movie. There's a novel. It's a novel
This
series.
went novel to movie very quick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, maybe Jack. But Rem's not going to clarify before to make this tough on you.
No.
Okay. So we dove right in. Other what's new? I'm off my $10 health cocktail in the morning.
Whoa.
Straight water this week.
What? Because
I was like, my body needs a reset. I feel heavy.
it's so funny you
all
say
the
that because
time.
I'm popping a cough drop right now, and I was gonna ask you what your cocktail is because I'm so over these allergies.
So maybe it is a tool in the toolbox versus a daily remedy.
Well, I mean,
But
at least some of the things that you had in there didn't seem like a daily.
emergency
Yeah.
AG1 and creatine.
I mean, I don't think there's anything. Emergency is typically
Just more vitamins than you actually need. Right? Yeah. But you're an emergency. If you start
Yeah, I
getting
like
sick,
emergency. If I get sick, if I'm feeling and you know it's deceiving too because it happened this weekend and I choked on water and I started coughing. It's been a weird week for water. So I choked on water, started coughing, and then I had that cough for the next hour or so, and I'm like,
do you think
oh
you
man,
tricked yourself into being sick?
no, because I had a cough. Now I was just denying it the whole time because I'm like, no, this cough came from that choking on water. But I think I choked on the water because of my throat being all scratchy and the allergies happening. Zyrtec is the only thing that helps me, and it let me down this weekend.
For me, if I bite my lip, you know, you bite your lip and then it'll also get like not infected, but it'll feel weird.
Oh yeah,
That I think I have caused myself to get sick multiple times in my life by biting my lip.
dude. You know what the worst is? When you sneeze before you have a chance to lick your lips and you split your lip with a sneeze. That's the worst feeling ever. And I did it yesterday because it just came before I was quick enough to lick my lips. And man,
Should we be here?
Dude.
Are you really sick? Are you?
huh? No,
This
it's,
is the
it's
calm-
allergies.
We're talking about sneezes right now.
Well,
Have you guys been around me when I sneeze? It is loud. Like Jessica
is
literally.
it one sneeze or is it like
It's
a bunch
one,
of sneezes?
It's one very fierce sneeze.
It's a dad sneeze.
And Jessica, like, it freaks her out every time. Every time she's like, if there's one thing I could change about you, that would be it. Like, your sneeze. I hate your sneeze.
Comes
So,
out of nowhere.
That sets up the story though. Okay? So the story is I've got a baby that I'm putting to sleep. Okay? I can't remember which child, but I've got this baby that I'm putting to sleep, and they were really fussy.
You're putting the baby to bed, to be clear.
Yes.
Okay.
They were very yes. Yeah. To bed.
Tell me about it.
They were very fussy. So this was taking me forever. Finally, baby has calmed down, and I have to sneeze.
Oh, dude, this sucks.
no.
Been there.
And so I
So you're
try
making
to
that-
block. I try to block the sneeze,
What'd you do
and
to try
I
to block
threw
it?
my back out while holding the baby in the rocker because I was trying to
swallowed
stop
it?
my sneeze.
So you swallowed
Oh,
it?
yeah.
You swallowed a
Yes.
sneeze?
Oh, it hurt so bad.
Did you wake the baby?
Huh? No.
there you
No,
go.
baby didn't get woken up, but I hurt for like a week after that.
So I was putting Oakley down for a nap today, and there's a humidifier right at my feet, and sometimes I'll put my foot on it to like rock.
Yeah.
Tipped it over.
Water everywhere.
Oh, I mean, and in like 1 foot radius spot, like it didn't go all over. It just seeped into this carpet.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it's gonna smell great at some point. But Yeah, or have you ever had like an alarm or something on your phone go off while you're putting the baby down?
Yeah, for sure.
You just feel like such a loser.
The worst is the dog barking, because like somebody comes to the door or whatever. You just got the baby to bed or just got the baby to sleep, and then
You've never treated a dog as much as you've treated a dog like a dog until you've had kids.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
It's a dog.
It's a dog.
I'll tell you what, though, we're in that phase of putting Remy, he's 5 weeks old. And so we're in that phase of sleep where time makes no sense at night. So, like, she'll say, hey, I'm going to feed him. And it takes a good half hour between all the things that have to happen to get up in the middle of the night, feed him. It takes it between a half hour and an hour. I'm like, okay. So then she gets back in bed 2 minutes later, and he starts crying again. And I'm like, are you going to feed him? She goes, what are you talking about? What do you think I've been doing for the last hour? And I look at my clock. It had been an hour, and it felt like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens all the time. The entire night makes no sense.
Because you were asleep.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
But in and out. But then every hour on the hour, I know exactly what time it is. Starting at midnight until 6 a.m.
He wakes up every hour.
Oh, he's not asleep during that time. I know what time it is because I'm up constantly in those hours. The only time I get off is basically when she's feeding.
Oh, there he is. I'm not disappointed that phase of my life is over.
Me neither.
So you're approaching 1. These girls are 1, and you're not waking up all hours of the night?
No. We reached them sleeping through the night probably 2 months ago, but then they'll hit like a wall where something will happen where they'll wake up every now and
Teething
then.
or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
teething has been rough.
Teething is the worst.
And usually you get a break with teething, but they've definitely traded back and forth as twins often do with like you think you're in the clear and then the poops have been rough. This teething round. Really rough.
Did
Teething
they throw
makes
up at
poop
all?
smell
Did they
certain?
throw up at all?
No
Dude,
throwing up.
Both my oldest and my youngest.
Really?
Yeah, they throw up, and it's like, come on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I have heard that the whole poop and drooling while teething is a myth. I just don't think it's a myth. I think it's real.
Yeah.
It actually coincides without a doubt.
I'll be honest. We, in terms of sleeping through the night.
Appreciate you being honest.
Yeah, sleeping through the night. I think for the last probably, definitely 3 kids, maybe 3.5 kids. We've just co-slept, and that completely changes the game in terms of sleep for the mom, for the baby, for the dad, for everybody. It's awesome. Because all you do is
We're getting a lot of judgy people writing into the cover.
You just whip that boob out, and then you're just asleep and just, dairy on demand. All night long.
Dairy on
I
demand.
think we did with Rose a little bit,
Dodd.
Hayes a little bit, but then the twins, it was a no.
Well, that makes sense.
Dude.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Shout out any moms breastfeeding the twins. Didn't sleep for 2 years straight.
Impressive.
Yeah, impressive. Welcome to the Cover Podcast in our new studio today. I'm one of your hosts, Brett Wiggins, and as always, we made sure it happened. To my left is sitting in a red hoodie with a peanut butter beer from Quaff On.
Yep. Second time that Quaff On has made the podcast now. But this is the Busted Knuckle.
Makes sense.
The peanut butter version of the Busted Knuckle. I was going through and I was like, oh yeah, I've got to get this for this movie.
Dude, I smelled it, tasted a little bit. I mean, peanut butter just got my heart.
Delicious.
That's Marcus Magus. Sitting not to my right, but directly in front of me, we're gazing into each other's eyes tonight, is my good buddy,
Sir Remington Ramsey.
Sir Remington. Rem, what are we covering tonight?
We haven't said it yet. Isn't that funny? Because the first rule of this movie is you don't talk about this movie.
That's true.
But we are covering Fight Club. Came out in 1999. Changed the game. I'm excited to talk about what I first thought of the movie when I first saw it as probably 17-year-old Remington. Here's the back cover. A nameless first-person narrator, Edward Norton, attends support groups in attempt to subdue his emotional state and relieve his insomniac state when he meets Marla, Helena Bonham Carter, Another fake attendee of support groups, his life seems to become a little more bearable. However, when he associates himself with Tyler, Brad Pitt, he is dragged into an underground fight club and soap-making scheme. Together, the two men spiral out of control and engage in competitive rivalry for love and power.
It's a pretty good one.
It is.
It's a pretty good summary.
It is. And there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this movie because there's a lot of things to spoil.
For sure.
So watch this movie, stop this podcast if you've never seen it. This is one of those movies.
Yes.
Because I know you're going to ask me. That was a game changer for me. So when I was 16, 17, 18, and I got my car and I was able to go to $5 Benz at Walmart and Blockbuster, I started watching movies and educating myself. I had some friends that were like, you know, better at movies and cinema and like, no, you haven't seen this, you got to see this. And Fight Club was one of those movies that changed the game for me. They broke all the rules. Like, I didn't know you could make a movie like this. I didn't know, you know, you could have so many twists and turns like this. And I didn't know you could have a character that was so cool.
When did it come out?
99.
Okay, so this was definitely a movie where as soon as your friends found out you hadn't seen it, you literally watched it. It didn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It was, we're all watching it.
Yeah.
And if you found out one of your friends hadn't seen it, after you're just like, all right, we're watching it right now. And rewatch. I feel like this is probably one of the first movies I rewatched multiple times.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
When was the first time you saw it? High school?
I want to say freshman or sophomore year of high school, yes.
You know what I'm talking about, though? Like a movie that changes the rules. Like you've never seen a movie that makes you feel a certain way and teases you and has all these elements that aren't in any other movies.
I would put this in the, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Waking Life. Definitely in that, like, oh, this is different. And I'm thinking about things very different while watching this. Great maneuver, Marcus. Marcus, what'd you know going into it before you seen Fight Club? You've seen it before?
Yes. I think I saw this in college, not high school. Grew up. I was the oldest, and it was a fairly sheltered house. So certain things would be allowed and certain things wouldn't. And then I just honestly I didn't have time for lots and lots of movies in high school. But in college is when I would hit the $5 bin all the time.
Really?
And then,
for some reason, I picture you in college not watching a ton of movies because you were so involved. I was
way less involved in college than I was in high school.
And really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fraternity, Sphinx Club, all the stuff you did for like the actual extracurricular. Did you play tennis in college?
I'm 1-0 in collegiate tennis.
Undefeated. So for a hot second.
By the way, the correct answer in the future is undefeated.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of
I
which.
think this proves the point because I try to tell my high school seniors I work with, you're going to have more time than you know what to do with in college. This proves my point.
I did.
But then at some point you were working and you had all these things.
I was always very busy, but I watched a lot of movies.
Up late, though, in a fraternity house.
With the boys. I just don't
Yeah,
sleep
but I don't
that much.
picture them sitting around watching a movie.
Oh,
well, this was a movie, though, this was a movie that you had to see.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain, like Tim Cheek, shout out Tim Cheek. I'm almost certain that he was the one that introduced me to this and Green Street Hooligans and
Guy movies.
what's
Green
I found out
I
2
can't
minutes
believe I'm
in. I
forgetting
found
it.
out.
Green Street Hooligans,
With
Lock,
the guy-
Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Those are all movies that I just loved.
what's the oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm not thinking of it, with Daryl from Walking Dead.
The movie?
The movie. It's got the two guys that go and I don't know if they're avenging something. Or,
Boondock Saints.
yes.
Yeah.
So that was in that same realm. So I saw all of these probably within like 6 months.
Oh, so like guy fighting movies.
Those are movies that you definitely would watch like in your room.
It's
at the
definitely
fraternity
addicting.
house.
Like you watch one, you're like, I want to watch another one like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially at that age.
It is very violent and it is very disturbing. Like I've seen it so many times, I forgot how disturbing it is the first time you see it. Because Kelsey watched 2 minutes and she was like, "This is dumb. I'm leaving."
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've watched this movie in the last decade.
Oh,
so
same,
so it was new to you. It was like
there were things that I didn't remember until right before it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was awesome, is because I really don't think I've watched this movie.
I
in the
forgot
last
how hard it
decade.
was to watch the scene where he beats up the blonde-haired dude.
Yeah. Do you know who that is?
No.
That's Jared Leto.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh,
That's Jared Leto. Because the part where Brad Pitt's going on his monologue about like everyone wants to be rock stars, they actually pan into Jared Leto because his album had just hit platinum with 30 Seconds to Mars.
interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I also noticed the guy from Mindhunter. Did you guys ever watch that show on Netflix?
No.
Heard of it. I haven't watched
Oh man, well I love like Criminal Minds and stuff about serial killers and stuff like that. And Mindhunter is them literally like figuring out how to go hunt serial killers. And there's 2 or 3 seasons.
That sounds like Criminal Minds to me.
It's kind of like the beginning of Criminal Minds, and it is similar.
Mindhunters is not a based on real stories situation, though, right?
I'm not sure.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, well, yes, it is, because they go after they talk about real criminals. They interview people who were real.
Got it.
Like, so all of the serial killers that they interview are playing someone who was an actual serial killer.
Got it. But Criminal Minds is total show, right? Like
Oh yeah, I mean
written-
is it still going? I mean, it's one of those shows that just went on for like 20 seasons.
It was on for a long time though, and I think I've seen every episode of Criminal Minds.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Mandy Patinkin had to quit.
What's it on right now? What's it stream on? Is it HBO situation? or
Probably Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be Riley and I just finished a series. She loves Castle. If you've never seen Castle.
Yeah, you keep talking
Good,
about it.
Easy.
I mean, Criminal Minds gets pretty dark. So
Yeah.
it's not one of those like watch before bed type of things, especially when you have kids.
is it blood squirts though?
Some,
Okay. Demonic?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely
Could
some
be a-
off-color things. Did you guys know Meatloaf was in this?
Yeah, dude.
I
Well,
noticed.
I saw the guy. I'm like, who is that? And then it popped up
Yeah.
of the cast. I was like, no way.
I would do anything for love and Bat Out of Hell. Those are the only 2 songs that I know from Meatloaf. That dude has pipes.
He did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did a really, really good job.
Oh yeah. His name was Robert Paulson.
His name is Robert Paulson. I love when the dude is like, no, when in death, you do have a name.
Yeah.
It's like, you just see.
Edward Norton is you idiots.
You idiot. Rem, do you remember when you first saw it? And what'd you know before?
I didn't know.
$5 bid?
So whoever was guiding me through my movie watching experience did a very good job of not letting me even know there was a twist. And so what's interesting about this is I'm going to spit out a ton of fun. This movie is full of fun facts. Rosie O'Donnell watches this movie. And if you ever watched Rosie, she was a huge, it's ironic, family person. She only liked family movies. And this was so dark. And she hated it so much that she went on an agenda basically and announced on her platform the twist before like movie weekend drops. And so David Fincher and Brad Pitt and Norton basically went off against her and said that this was unforgivable because it really does. At that point, that affects your livelihood.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah, 'cause
people,
she was big at the time for sure.
oh for sure. I mean, they could have. I don't know if they sued her, but I wouldn't have.
She have a talk show then at that
Oh
point?
yeah, I mean she was Ellen before Ellen was Ellen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Holy cow. So
Can you imagine? Like, just don't watch the movie. Like, just say you don't like it. But like, there was some elements about this movie that got changed and rearranged. Some lines in it that were very racy, that they had to change because Fox just didn't want the heat. They even like the buildings that are all falling. They wanted to were supposed to be like credit card companies, but they weren't. They were all Fox studio buildings. Because they thought the credit card companies would come after them if they didn't. They were very scared to launch this movie.
Huh.
That's probably why it's so good.
Well, they just said at the end, they finally said, whatever, we're just going to do the best movie we can. And then they did.
Yeah.
I'm sure Rosie thought there are other people thinking what I'm thinking, so I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm sure moment she probably
She got canceled. She kind of got canceled before anyone got canceled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
kind of invented getting canceled just because she had so many takes that were just like not popular. And people were like, yeah, I think you're done.
Man, what was the name of the show? Was it
Rosie O'Donnell.
Roseanne was the show.
No, not
not
Roseanne.
Roseanne.
She also got canceled, but that was for political reasons.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell.
O'Donnell.
She had her own
Turk
talk
from
show.
Tarzan.
Yep. Oh yeah. Wait.
It was her, Ellen, and Oprah were the three.
But Ellen is after Rosie, right?
Yeah, Ellen was like a regular on Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And then got her own show.
And she was married to Tom something.
Rosie
O'Donnell.
was gay.
Yeah.
But married to a dude first, way back in the
Oh, it
day.
might have been.
You could be right.
Tom, a comic.
She always had the cush ball. She was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know politically as a kid. Like, I watched her and she had, A-listers on, and
Yeah.
I didn't know her political takes or anything like that. But yeah, definitely was not good for this movie.
She strikes me as someone who would be a big Donald Trump fan until it wasn't popular to be a Donald Trump fan, and then just I don't know, like back in the day, she would have been a big Donald Trump fan.
All of those talk show hosts had him on.
Trump? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Him and Fallon have one of the most epic interviews of all time. I mean,
I just saw this reel that I don't know. Like, here's the problem now. I don't know what's AI and what's not.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
But he's on Larry King Live, and he goes, I'm going to sit sideways because your breath is very bad. Has anyone ever told you that? I think it's real. Like, look it up. And
Trump says it to him.
Trump says this to Larry King, and he says it with a smile. He's not being a jerk. He's just super direct. Like, this is just who he is.
Well, I mean, to say that knowing it's on
I'm not
live
saying he doesn't
television-
know what
Yeah,
he's doing,
yeah.
but this
what-
is in the 90s.
What did I know going into it? I don't remember. I know if I had to guess, this is a movie that my best friend growing up, Dan, and his older brother, Drew, would have introduced me to. Andy's what we called him back then. He's probably 6 years older than us, so we got it was like that. Hey, the rest of your friends aren't going to know about this for 2-3 more years. Here, you need to watch this or whatever. So I'm guessing that's where we watched it. Probably late at night, sophomore year, passing around bottle of vodka and watching Fight Club.
Just like Marcus.
just like Marcus.
Basically the same.
Just like Marcus. Okay, Marcus, you're working on your 9 words. You'll have 30 more seconds because I'll go first.
All right.
All right. Okay. Ready, set, and go. Man has a coming to Jesus moment. What am I doing? He doesn't know. Blows everything up. Doesn't know. Starts a huge fight club. Doesn't know. Starts doing it with some really weird girl in a really weird house. Doesn't know. Then starts to think, oh, this is kind of cool. Before he realizes, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. This is not cool. Ends up creating a huge following and then hating the following and then trying to fix it. Does he fix it? We really don't know. It's for 30 seconds.
It's more than 30 seconds. Now I can see the clock.
So there's some of his slam poetry that like really makes me know what he's talking about, like helps me with the movie. Some of them I'm like, what movie is this?
Sometimes some of the things that made Brett think I'm like, what movie did you watch?
You know what we need to do? We need to compile all of his slam poetries
into its own
episode and try to guess what movie it is.
Ooh. That's
You
good.
That's
good.
fun.
Yeah. If I watched it very, very recently, they're better. But if I watched it a while ago,
The movie or the slam poetry?
like
if you watch it like that day.
yeah, like Parasite, I was crunched for time. I watched that day.
Oh, yeah.
Carved out 3 hours because if the movie's 2 hours, it probably takes about 3 hours with taking notes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were not much work got done that day, but great slam poetry. All right, Marcus, 9 words.
All right. Frustrated with his life, the brain takes drastic measures.
That's good. That's good. I liked it.
No spoilers in that one.
I was going to say, again, we should do that with yours, too.
No spoilers in that one.
Marcus, I mean, I'm very impressed with your situation over there.
Fight Club.
Very good. Fight Club.
It's the new chair.
What made us think? We got a lot of hidden gems on this one.
Tons of hidden
There's
gems.
so much.
So it's not going to be.
I just kept taking notes.
It's not going to be easy to separate the questions tonight. It's never easy. Tonight, it's not gonna.
So we're probably just gonna announce
Well,
something.
rock and
the first question of what did you think? We could really take the direction of like the movie itself and the message.
Yeah, I think that's what I usually
we can
try
just
to do.
run with like trivia.
Okay, I like that.
and
I like
quotes
that. Okay, what made us think? I just said Edward Norton nails his role.
Crushed
Dry,
Crushed
but
it.
comical. His timing, just like really, really good. What did he do before this movie? Was he already?
Oh, he was right up coming off the cusp of American History X.
Okay,
Yeah.
So he had to lose 17 to 20 pounds for this role, which is really funny because he's a fighter in this, right? So like he's like taking the script and was like, I mean, I fight in this, but I'm supposed to be this scrawny dude. He is jacked in American History X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like jacked. So how much do you think?
Is that the one with the curb stomp?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you said boot not sinks earlier.
That's
I don't
not-
get those confused, but they're like, I feel like that timing of everything. I watched them at the same
Oh
time.
yeah. I mean, completely different. Boondock Saints is like vigilantes.
Yeah.
So, how much do you think Brad Pitt was coming off of blockbuster flop Meet Joe Black? Have you guys seen that?
The gorilla?
Yeah. Meet Joe.
Was it
That's
a
Meet
gorilla?
Joe Young. Charlize Theron, though.
Oh, did
I've
you just
seen
say
neither.
Charlize Theron?
Theron.
Charlize Theron?
Theron? Yeah.
Hey, if we
I
meet
am
her,
now
if
going to
we
call
meet
her
at Con,
Charlize
you gotta make sure
Theron.
you get that done.
Hello,
think
Miss
it's Theron.
Theron.
I think it's Theron.
My name is Magis.
Yeah,
Max.
I'm just gonna pronounce them all like they're French.
Just
Hello,
until we
I
get
am
to Con.
Marcus.
Ramsey?
No, and
Ramsey?
they look at you like you pronounce my name wrong. Then you're just like, "Hello, I am Marcus." And they'll go, "Oh, it's just a pronunciation."
And we'll be like, he
thing."
speaks third best. Hey, did you guys like that message I sent you
We
guys?
should just quote Inglourious Bastards all the time and
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about doing it.
We
but
have done
never,
that.
But
the last
never
5
do
episodes.
It. But never
do it. It'll be the one movie. You know what you guys should do? We're like inceptioning everyone's brains.
Rem, I feel like you had something there.
I was just going to say, did you like the message I left you guys midweek this week? You remember what
It was an audio message that I was like, "Oh, should be good."
I don't
and
think I
remember
listened.
going, "This was."
I don't think I
Dang it.
listened to it.
You didn't listen to
I
it?
don't think I did.
It was Tom Hardy. It was The Revenant. It was
Yeah.
He found God. God was a squirrel. I just in the middle of I thought you guys.
Dude,
needed
it's
to hear
just
that.
really hard
It
for
just
me
popped in my
with Tom
head.
Hardy. With Tom Hardy, I just think of Bane,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then if you guys ever saw the bad lip reading of that movie,
Oh.
Bane does a whole song. Have you guys seen
No,
this?
that sounds great,
My
though.
name's Bane. That's my name.
Dude, bad lip reading was
I'm
a
criminally
great
insane.
moment in history. The
was.
NFL bad lip reading was
Hunger Games.
epic.
They still
Twilight.
do them, I think.
Do they? Well,
Yeah.
They do, but it's just like it's one of those
It gets
things where
old.
when it first came out.
oh man,
it was much
I
bigger.
slapped a fish.
I said, dude, you slapped a fish.
I had a really good. So I'm gonna try to do it. I did it in front of Riley once. She was like, "That's great." And I
Is this
could
your
never
Bane
redo it.
voice?
I'm Bane. But I did it really good one time, and I always try to do it again.
Oh yeah.
So last one on bad lip reading. So there's this one line in one of the NFL ones that's you're too excitable, and so Jessica and I have quoted that for probably 15 years.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
like in
yeah.
that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And Reed at dinner says to someone, he goes, "You're too excitable."
He doesn't even know it's
my
from.
12-year-old. He's never seen
I
it. He has no idea.
There's no
Oh, yeah.
origin. He
So-
just knows it's funny.
So then that turned into at the dinner table us watching a 30-minute best of the first 10
Compilation.
years of NFL bad lip reading.
Oh, that's great.
And it wasn't on there. So we were watching the whole thing. But, I mean, we were cracking
So I'm
up
taking this
laughing.
girl out, and
So
we're just
funny.
having a ball. And I get back to our place, the floor is just bean bags.
Well,
I'm like, what are you doing with all the floor bags?
think about this. There was a guy trained in knowing what sounds you could make out of this movement of lips, and now it's probably just all AI. That's why it's not good anymore.
Well, yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I told you guys I watched All Quiet on the Western Front through, I think, Netflix, and their AI is incredible because it was dubbed, and I thought it was in English. It was that good. And then a couple of them would be off, and it was one of those things where I hit pause because I thought the audio was off a little bit.
Yeah.
And hit play, and I was like, oh, shoot, this
I've
has
done that
been
before.
dubbed.
Yeah.
and it's very good because what they do is instead of like what they used to do is just like in a martial arts movie, they would cut out all the audio and then you and me would try to match the words with different voices. It's their voice. That's what's crazy about AI.
Nuts.
Their voice inflections are the same, just in different languages.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Watching this, so I'm gonna guess it's been 20 years since I've seen it. And knowing that there are twists and knowing like, hey, I know that he ends up being both people, whatever, but not remembering what all the twists were, I wrote down, is Marla real? Like, I'm like trying hard.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, because
you
when
hadn't seen it in a while?
Yeah.
Well, she acts very like he
Yes.
says in the first couple scenes, like she just is trying to die and it won't work. Like she walks right in the middle of traffic, like all this stuff.
Well, for me, it was her showing up at all the support groups, and I'm like, oh, she's not real.
She's the fake one.
She's the like that's what it is. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh dang it, no, like it wasn't. I had a couple of moments like that. Yeah, is Marla real?
We got
She
two
is.
things. You got two things going on. Like we talked about, like the movie has a central message, which is anarchy, right? But then you also have the movie itself trying to give you hints the entire time that he is Tyler Durden. The
Which
entire
is so
movie.
cool to rewatch it after you know.
That's why I wrote down the second time you watch Fight Club is the coolest time. 'Cause
Did you
then
guys go? How did
Which is a lot like Beautiful Mind, like the same thing. It's like when you know,
Sixth
and then
Sense,
you
all
realize,
those.
oh my goodness.
Which
Yeah.
does it leave?
But
you-
I'm sorry to interrupt. Out of all those, though, I don't think any of them do it like Fight Club.
No.
Sixth
I
Sense,
agree.
Beautiful Mind.
So watching all of the moments where they're clearly giving you hints, how do you feel in that moment watching? Do you feel like, "How I'm an idiot? How did I miss this?" Or are you like, "Wow, these people did a great job"?
I wrote down. I wish 35-year-old Remington would have watched it for the first time, so we would have known if he would have gotten it. Because 16-year-old Remington had no idea it was coming.
I had no idea when I watched it the first time either.
I had no idea. I tend to think I'm really good at guessing stuff, and I found out by being married to Riley for 10 years now that I'm just really good at guessing a lot.
You have so many guesses,
And you're just gonna be right.
One of them
eventually.
has to be right.
You're just gonna be right. So
I knew it.
and you celebrate. It's why for some reason I've been able to hold back on. I just don't bet sports ever. I just don't.
Yeah, me neither.
And I don't know why.
Me
because
neither.
You gamble on anything?
not even when I go to Vegas, like I'll play.
Yeah, I hate losing
You
money.
paid me $20 for golf the other day.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
He was on your team. How's that work?
No, not for the second nine.
But my no, that was the first. No,
Oh my gosh,
my
we
drive. My
We
drive was
haven't
amazing.
filmed since we did the Olympics. We talked about it on the last
man.
episode, and we haven't filmed it. You guys need
Underperformed.
to eat crow because
Oh,
you said I suck.
Underperformed.
All you need to know is that I finished third in the 400, second in shot put.
That's
and
not all they
first
need to
in
know.
plank. That's all I remember.
I kicked a 45-yard field goal. We're not going to talk about that.
Dude, after watching college football this weekend.
Dude, that 400 was tough.
Yeah, there was like within 20 seconds I was like either I'm out of my mind or there are 10 individuals in front of me that have no idea how far 400 meters is. Like that's and the
Well,
second
I
minute being
told you
true.
guys, but my entire strategy was to get as far in front as I could and then die.
Yeah.
Because I knew that
Die on the
I knew that turning for that final 100, there was no chance I was going to be able to sprint
your
it out.
self-awareness was turned out very, very well. I had the exact opposite strategy. I loved watching people I guess I was breathing extremely loud coming around the turn. I loved watching people just be like, what's happening?
Yeah, everybody.
Well, you both passed me on that final 100, and you were just flying. I'm like, just trucking along.
Was that your strategy before I started moving? Like,
Oh,
were
I was
you
at
gonna-
it was you and me and one other person in the very Drew in the very back of the pack.
So Drew even came up from because I didn't black out or anything, but I definitely was focused on myself.
No, but we filmed
Francis
it.
Francis and I must
Francis
have
was up.
we stayed up front the whole time.
The funniest
pretty much.
part about Mark is he's shorter, but he took off and he went full fledged with the fastest guy in our group, and went step to step with him for 300 yards and 300 meters. But he's looking behind him, And because he's shorter, he's looking over his shoulder back and forth to see where everyone is, still running like Mario. I was laughing so hard. Oh, man. And then, Brett comes like a bat out of hell, just like Meatloaf. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to let this dude pass, whoever this is.
Oh, I was breathing loud too, for sure.
No, I felt my legs going like jelly, and I'm like, listen, there's 6 more events. I think I just need to get 4th place on this.
I knew my points. My obstacle course was not my.
Did they tell us that shot
I
put
was just kind of
next?
like middle. I was kind of
remember
middle
doing
the
that.
whole day, and I finished right in the middle.
I was high and low, and I finished in the middle.
Yeah.
Finished in the middle. We could do a separate 30-minute recap just of the Olympics.
Yes, that's what our cover listeners are. We're hoping to tune into.
Well, actually, our current cover listeners might.
There's a handful. There's a handful.
Yeah, it's 100% true.
Although I can't believe how many of them in the league don't listen at all. I mean, come on, guys.
All right, so listen, in the first part of the
let's get
movie,
into
here's all the things that I wrote down that are subtle hints the movie's trying to tell you. He goes, I know this because Tyler knows this. That's one of the first lines in the entire movie.
Yeah.
He's talking about, like, he's strapped up and they're about to blow up those buildings, and he's explaining why he knows these things. He says that. Then when he talks about narcolepsy and waking up in strange places to the doctor, well, that's when he's Tyler.
That's
right. The movie was telling us the whole time. He became addicted to help groups. So I wrote this down. He became addicted to help groups to feel something and sleep. But I think it actually put things in perspective for him, like how good his life actually was. And he became addicted to feeling like that. Because he's talking to Marla, and he goes, when people think you're dying, they really listen to you instead of just waiting for their turn to speak.
Yeah.
Like, there's some really deep lines in the beginning and end of that movie.
Well, I think also, the theme throughout, right, is he's thinking about mortality.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know what mortality is or what it feels like. So he gets addicted to these support groups where these people are dying. And he's thinking, man, like, my life sucks. I'm this consumer, right? At one point, like, I wrote down 4 things really fast here right at the beginning. And I said he gets addicted to support groups. And then, like, why does he get it? He says a wardrobe that was close to complete, right? So he's talking about that. He's talking about all of the IKEA
he says
furniture.
That at the bar scene.
Like, he's talking about all of his IKEA furniture. He's talking about all these things that he buys. And he's, like, sick of this consumerist attitude that he's got. It's getting him nowhere. He says that he can't get married. He can't get married. He's a 30-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Right? And so he's, like, looking for some kind of meaning. And what happens is his brain essentially fractures.
Yeah.
And in comes Tyler.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, like, all the thoughts you're describing come from Tyler. Tyler's the one that doesn't like the consumerism. He's the one that...
Well, sure. But he was very consumer. So,
right.
I mean,
but I think he, like, embraced that. He liked his IKEA stuff. Like, he was addicted to IKEA catalogs. He was addicted to getting that wardrobe perfect because then he would be complete, is what he was saying. He said that in the scene when he's talking to Tyler.
Yeah, and Tyler is the realization that that's such a waste of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He does.
When I say him, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I'm including him and Tyler as one.
Yeah.
Because
Rem, let's settle this now before we have to. Should we be calling him Jack?
So Jack, so Edward Norton goes on basically saying that his name is Jack. His character's name is Jack, just because he has those little moments where he's like, "I'm Jack's last breath," or all those things that he's saying. But the author of the book doesn't actually call him Jack. He calls him something else in the book too. But for everything that we're talking about, it's just assumed that the narrators.
So in book 2, he doesn't call him Jack.
It can't be Tyler though. The entire time I was thinking about this, like, he can't. His name can't be Tyler.
No.
Because if it is, then he would be denying just knowing what his name is when people call him and stuff like that. So it has to be something else.
But the plane tickets say Tyler Durden on them.
After. He invents Tyler, right? There's a moment in time where he goes, and then I met Tyler. It's on the plane.
Yeah.
So those plane tickets happened after he invented Tyler. Because he
has
says
a fake ID with Tyler Durden's name on it.
It's
I don't
not
know
so
about
hard. I mean, look at all the other things that he
That's
did.
one of my movie magics. Is
no.
I
It's
mean,
not a
look at
movie
all the other
magic.
things that he did
Because
when was Tyler.
he visits the same spots Tyler had just been. He's like, I feel like a deja vu because he had just been there.
But the plane is what, like, I know this is pre 9/11, but you still had to show an ID to get on a plane.
Maybe.
And he shows a plane ticket with
No,
Tyler.
you don't. You just have to have a plane ticket. You don't.
I
have to
never
have
got
ID.
on the plane. I never got on the plane.
You could have blank. You could
9/11.
have no name on a ticket back in the day. You did not have to have a name. You could just had to have a ticket. People would give you, hey, here's my ticket, and they would get on the plane.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Now it's just an ID. You don't even show your ticket. Go through security.
Really? Oh,
ID
to go
only.
through security.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't get on the plane without a ticket.
Right. Okay. Well, that was smart for us to add that little matter of security. That's good. Marcus, anything else to add to your general thoughts? You said you wrote on 4
Well, I just
things.
think that he's just got this very blah life.
Yes. Yes.
And
But
that's
he
kind of where my 9 words came in, right? Is
Yep.
I think that he's feeling this way. He doesn't know what is going to solve the problem. These support groups seem to be helping, but what they're showing him is like, wow, people that are dying have felt something.
Dude.
I've never felt anything
I think
before.
I watch
and I think that helps him to like change.
I watch a lot of, I think, people go into that first real job after college thinking that, okay, now I've made it. I need to collect the stuff. I need to.
Yeah.
And I think anytime I get in a rut, I'm caught up on what stuff am I collecting? What has somebody else collected that I don't have yet? And it's just a big collection of stuff. And he was trying to complete the collection, and then you're like, what am I doing? Where am
So
I
when
at?
they move into that house, it's like there's nothing. It's the opposite.
It's
there's
the opposite.
nothing there. There's no.
This house is so gross.
It
the amount
is.
of times they show them
Dude.
brushing their teeth is so weird.
You know what I wrote down? Why on earth did teenage Remington think they were so cool? Because I did. I thought they were so cool. I wanted to live in that house. I wanted to do that. I did. I was like, oh, wow. It's a mansion, but it's got rats everywhere and nothing works. But it's a mansion.
I thought what kind of spoke to what Tyler's purpose was in his life was he says, how's that working out for you being clever? They're on the plane.
Yeah.
And I think he's talking about the difference between thinkers and doers, and how if you like, I think I'm going to call him Jack. He's like making fun of others constantly for trying, basically. And Tyler's like, that's just a waste. It's a complete waste. You're just being clever. Like, get over it. And I think it's just his switch over from thinking, doing things that don't actually matter to like only doing things that matter, which didn't actually end up being the right things, but at least he was doing something.
At least he was doing something.
At least he was doing something.
Two more clues that we should have picked up on. Why wasn't a clue to me when she was asking his name? Because when she's standing in the middle of traffic, she goes, "What's your name?" And then it pans out, goes somewhere else. Like that should be a bit. Wait, do we know his name? Like that should have been like a big.
I didn't even realize I didn't know his name until we sat down here for me to do and I was trying to figure out my 9
Seriously?
words. I really didn't. I didn't realize that I didn't know his name.
Great. That's great. That's a great movie.
Agreed.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
Would you wake up as another person? So narrator's talking, Edward Norton's talking. He goes, "Would you wake up as another person?" They pan to Brad Pitt going the opposite way on the escalator.
Yeah.
It's like that line right there. Like all these things. He goes, "Who's this?" He goes, "Tyler." He says it because what they're trying to make you think. So the phone rings. It's the cop, and he goes, He goes, "Who's this?" And he goes, "Tyler." He says Tyler. And he's making you think that he's like questioning if the other guy is Tyler, but he's actually answering, "I'm Tyler." Did you catch that?
No.
Because Tyler's gone. And he's like trying to figure out, he's like, "Where's Tyler?" And he picks up the phone. He goes, "Who's this?" "Tyler." So, I mean, little things like that I never caught before.
It does this is would this be multiple personality disorder? Is that what is?
I don't know.
Do people? My question do people actually experience this? Like maybe not to this extent, blowing up buildings, but like when you have multiple personalities, which is a real thing. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, and you don't always know what the other one's doing. That is a real thing. Yes.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's a version of schizophrenia.
Me, Myself, and Irene. Have you guys seen?
Yes.
Yeah. So like,
But in that version, I think they know what each other's doing.
no,
They
because
don't?
there's a point where he's like, there's a question he asks, and he's like, "Hey, what? We did what last night?" And so he did not know.
So did not
Yeah.
know, like a werewolf.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another movie that has this. I'm just gonna ruin all the plots to all the horror movies, but Hide and Seek. Have you seen Hide and Seek?
No.
I'll just ruin it for you.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. So these
Split has
Split. Yeah.
Split
Split.
personality.
Split's the one to me that's like closest to this. in
but he like
terms of-
changes his body composition
Yeah.
and stuff for the I have not seen it because I couldn't handle that.
You're saying Split is a movie?
Oh
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And it's messed up.
Yeah, it is messed up.
Sounds great. Riley, cue that one up on my list.
So here's a line that encompasses everything.
I like that you're delegating from the podcast.
Did Riley watch it?
No.
Oh, so to
Jessica did.
to bring it all in. Was that the first time she's seen it?
No.
Oh. Consumerism. The things you own end up owning you.
Yeah.
That was the line that brought all that together. I mean, so really good lines, like lines that actually make a lot of sense
Oh, yeah.
and dig in.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think that was part of the. I think that whoever created the book and then the movie, right? Like they take that to the extreme, so that, but they are trying to prove a point,
Oh yeah.
right? And I think that
I think there are some very good
consumerist
intentions behind.
mindset. I mean, artistically, it's incredible what they do here.
This
Here's
is
something that made me think, or I just wrote this down. I thought it was a cool note. You know, it was a little bit sad to me that when they did the rules for Fight Club, there were 8 rules
Instead of 9.
instead of 9. Man, isn't that sad?
That is sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
No, because this podcast is.
Well, the first rule of Project Mayhem is you don't talk about Project Mayhem. You just add in they altered it to Project Mayhem.
I'll tell you what though, my favorite rule. What's your favorite rule? I mean, obviously you got the first two. Do not talk about Fight Club. First rule of Fight Club is do not talk about Fight Club.
Does anybody have all?
I didn't.
8
I
right
didn't
now?
write them down. I didn't write them
Oh, we
down.
can find them really fast, but there was one that just stood out to me.
What was that?
If it's your first night of Fight Club,
You have to
You have
fight.
to
you
fight.
have to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get chills just like hearing that because it's good.
but
You have
that's
to.
why-
If you
but-
come, you're not just going to consume this. You're going to participate.
But that's why, like, you as the young man, you were like, "Oh man, that sounds awesome."
Yeah.
Like I got it.
I wrote down that his rules to Fight Club make it like humane and like admirable. Like that's cool. Like there's rules to the game. Like we know.
Shirt, no shoes, no shirt.
It was awesome. Yeah. It was
When someone
absolutely
taps out, you stop.
awesome.
yeah, they
'cause
get
we're
up
not trying
and
to
they,
kill
like,
anybody.
hug each other. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I get.
Had you
it.
guys ever been in a fight when you saw this? Did you guys get any fights in high school?
One fight.
Did you get hit?
Because
Because some fights are just shoving. One guy goes to the ground and then it's
There's
over,
a
and that's
kid
a fight.
like 2 years younger than me. I think I was in middle school, and his brother had told him, "Hey, just try to put your thumb as far into his eye as you can."
No way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And he did that to you?
That's all he was trying to do. So I
That's
hit
all he
him,
was trying to
and
do.
then he was just on top of me trying to put his thumb as far into my eye as he could.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I
His
think
mom
I've,
came walking out with a bat, and then we stopped fighting.
I think I've only been in 1 or 2 fights, and they were both in elementary school.
Probably not that intense.
Unless
I'm
you count,
assuming.
unless you count me getting punched in the gut during the bachelor party.
That
I do
wasn't
not
a
count
fight.
that.
That wasn't a fight. You've been in some wrestling matches.
But see, like that, the thing about an actual fight where you get hit, which is what. Like,
Now I have
you're
done
talking
boxing, and I've
You
been.
had done-
I've been. I remember. So, yeah, it's fine. So we did something back in the day. We would just call them delt bouts, and so the pledges we could call out either an upperclassman or another pledge or whatever, and we would go down. And I mean, we had boxing.
Did you have
we had
headgear?
We had boxing gloves. We had headgear. We had Vaseline on our face and stuff. I mean, it was probably as as close to safe as you could get in that scenario, like down in the basement of the fraternity. And so we did, I think it was like 3 1-minute rounds. And I just remember, like, I was in pretty good shape as a freshman in
boxing
college.
for a minute is.
And I was going against a guy who's probably at least 5 or 6 inches taller than me, so he's got a longer reach, right? I was definitely quicker, but he had the longer reach. And I remember I was going around one time, and he got me. I never saw it coming, and I just remember like, whoa!
It's
Like,
the first time you ever been hit?
yeah, hit like that,
So
like
that's what
in
I'm
the
saying.
head, like it rattles you for a second.
For sure.
It brings everything into focus real fast.
You ever been punched in the nose?
I've been hit in the nose a lot, like basketball.
Oh my gosh. So like that's the thing and that's why I like sports too, because we probably have all taken a hit by the time we actually experience a fight or, defending yourself from sports, because you get hit in certain places from a limb or the ball or something but when someone's trying to punch your face and they hit it and you're still alive afterwards, it does something to you.
Yeah.
It does.
I agree with
that's
that.
definitely portrayed in the movie, without a doubt. It's like an awakening moment where it's like, oh.
I got a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
He was supposed to pull his punch. So in that scene where Brad Pitt says "hit me," Norton was supposed to just fake the punch, and then they would bring in body doubles for the stunts. Fincher brings Norton aside and says, "Hit him in the ear, like throw him off completely." And so that is a genuine hit, genuine sound, genuine reaction from Brad Pitt. Yep. And they left it in the movie. You can see Norton kind of laughing because he didn't think they were going to keep it. But, like...
I get it in a movie like this, though. Like, and the characters you're playing, to actually go through and hit it.
Oh, yeah. They were actually drunk when they were hitting golf balls.
Yeah.
They hit the side of a concession stand truck and they were laughing. Yeah.
Brad Pitt does seem like the dude who'd be like happy that they decided to hit him too. Like he seems like the guy that's like, no, that's great.
After the movie, he told Norton that this was going to be his favorite movie he's ever done.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if it's
He's
true now.
awesome
He's
in
been
this
a
movie.
ton.
Gosh, he's so good.
You know how much he got paid versus Norton? So Norton wasn't nothing. Like he just got done doing American History X. He had done, I think he did Rounders at that point.
Rounders, great movie.
So like, guess how much Norton got? Guess how much?
Well,
Brad
hold
Pitt
on.
got?
To that point, would you call American History X and Rounders? Those weren't blockbuster. Like those were more. I don't want to call them cult classics, but they were.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I can look that up.
Yeah. So
Rounders definitely was a cult classic. I thought
guess,
American History X.
I'm
going to
guess Edward Norton was paid half or less of what Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I would guess that too.
Yeah, 17 mil for Brad Pitt, 2 mil.
Yeah.
2 mil for Norton.
I mean, Brad Pitt's been big for a real long time.
Yeah.
And Norton was kind of fringe still.
American History X definitely put him on the map.
Yeah. Something else I wrote down, and I gotta figure out who this was, but I thought this was hilarious, and I don't know if it's a hidden gem or it made me think or whatever, but there's one point where I think he's talking to Marla, and he just leaves her talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And she just keeps talking.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who I was rooming with, but it was one of you two, where we were both talking to our wife.
It was at the indie apartment. It was at my second.
Is this
indie
when you made
apartment.
them talk to each other?
Well, no, it's better than that. We switched phones, and we weren't we switched phones, and the ladies were still just talking, and we're sitting there just laughing because we switched.
This wasn't
phones.
me.
No, it was in the. I feel like it was in the living room with the futon.
Yeah.
And,
I knew it was one of you two. I don't know. I thought I did it in a hotel once.
Played a lot of Call of Duty in that room.
Dude,
Call
so
of Duty.
funny when we
Call of
just
Duty.
switch phones.
Kid Call of Duty.
Just because just now finding out about this.
No, I think she's heard the story.
Pitt's convo. So I guess. So what's interesting is, it's Jack's convo with Tyler, but it's about his dad. So this is making it really weird. But he says he kept on calling his dad and saying, "All right, what now? All right, you're done with school. Now you get a job. All right, what now? All right, now you do this. Well, what now? Now you find a girl." It is like such a just what's the next phase of my life? Okay, you just do this, you do this, you do this.
This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. Do the next thing. And then he makes the comment of, "Oh yeah, we're the generation raised by women." What did you guys think of that that comment because I think I understand where he's coming from, what he's talking about.
He made the comment that his dad was never there.
Yeah.
So
right.
like, you know, that was apparently the first American generation where men were traveling salesmen or just left, which it doesn't. So originally kids would work in the fields with their parents, with their dad.
Marcus,
Yeah.
we've talked about this.
Right.
Too, yeah.
So like it kind of evolved from working class to white collar. And when the white collar happened, it was the first time men left their families.
Well, not just white collar, but even the industrial
Even
revolution.
blue collar were leaving home and kids were going to school and staying home with mom. So it changed the dynamics of how they were raised.
Yeah, instead of learning a trade or learning on the farm and
Right.
being with your dad or mom as they're going about their daily work, contributing to society, learning how to contribute to society, you go and you learn how to be a worker, basically. You know, you go to school, you learn how to be a worker, and then you go and work.
I would just love to.
I wonder if the term Sunday school actually was school. Like it wasn't just learning about spiritual faith matters. Like if they actually one day a week taught kids math and stuff.
I don't think there was Sunday school back then.
You don't think so?
No.
I think you're just saying that.
No, I think they just went to church.
I bet there was Sunday school.
I don't know, but hearing stuff like that makes me be like, why not just go have 40 acres in your own farm and be completely self-reliant?
Yeah,
There's a lot of good that comes from that.
yeah,
A lot.
it could be.
Be really great. It's never going to happen, though. It's not happening. All right, we covered the rules. That was in my notes. Next was the rules were made it humane, made it admirable.
This,
but
this was a quote, but it was one of those that really made me think, and so I wanted to hit on this. He said, when he's talking about the Fight Club, he says, normal people would do just about anything to avoid a fight.
Yeah, where he challenges them to.
Yeah.
That's a montage where he says, "Your homework is pick a fight and lose."
Yes.
That is so funny.
And then they're trying to pick fights, and people won't fight with them.
Try to pick a fight with a priest.
Like people won't fight with them. I
people
think
won't
that's
eat.
hilarious,
Yeah.
and what an interesting, like, concept, right? Like if we went out and tried to pick a fight,
Yeah.
right? Like, what would happen?
I
don't think that's.
something-
I don't
how
think
much-
it's true anymore.
how
I don't.
much-
I don't think it's true anymore.
No,
I
but
think you
still-
can find a fight very easily.
But still,
Really?
how far would you have to go to get hit? Like for somebody to hit you, I think you'd have to go pretty far.
Here, I think you're more likely to get hit by saying something than by hitting someone.
Yes.
Yeah, because they were trying the tactics of
Yeah.
shoving and.
Yeah, spraying water on them, whatever. I think you say the wrong thing.
To be fair, if some guy for no reason just starts coming at you, you're thinking this guy's crazy. I need to get out of here.
Well, I think the thing to do would be to pick on somebody, like either hit on or pick on somebody's wife.
oh,
Like,
done.
like
Game
that's
over.
the way that
Yeah,
you would get
that's a good
hit,
point.
right?
Yeah, Bob was trying to like flat tire people. It's like trying to step on there. Probably not gonna work. Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like people are like we're
was a
just
great
too
scene.
like we're just too nice. We think about even driving, like how much we have to trust each other all the time to just do the right thing.
I was just thinking about that yesterday.
Like it's insane.
Yeah.
That
Some kid who just learned how to drive last year is on the other side of the yellow line,
yeah.
going 60 miles an hour, and
It is wild how few. I know they happen, but how few accidents happen. Like yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
wild. We're just like, yes, we're all gonna drive
we're all gonna just drive on the other side of this
1,000-pound
paint
metal things 100 miles
For
an hour.
sure.
And I trust you.
for sure.
Right. Well, so there's a lot of like shared responsibility in a lot of the things that we do. If you go to a restaurant, you wait with the hostess, then the hostess takes you to go be seated versus just walking in and seating yourself and saying, "No, I'm going to do that." Right? Or tea times or whatever. Like there's just all
Respecting
these
the rules of the.
all these different things. And I think that goes to even fighting. And it does say something about our society that I think I would say is actually positive. I think it would be kind of hard to pick a fight unless you would go after somebody's girlfriend, spouse, whatever. I think that's a really smart way to get in a fight.
Well, I mean, so I think
That's about the only time I think I would like go after somebody.
I don't know that I'd ever go after anybody. I would always defend.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I
even
if somebody came at me,
I would like to think that if someone just is saying words, that I could still just remove my family from the situation. I was reading this book that I didn't really enjoy the book, so I don't want to badmouth it because it was good. It was written by an ex-Navy SEAL, not one of the common ones. It was like Raising Men or something like that, and he talks about how his being a SEAL or something like that, he was always assessing potential danger and threats.
Yeah.
And there was someone at his car looking to either steal the car or steal something in the car. And he and his buddy, who were bigger than this guy, were with their wives, and they approached him and barked him off essentially, and then came to and decided not to chase him. And he writes in the book about later, he's like, that was stupid. That was the dumb thing to do. You don't know if he's got other buddies. You don't know if he has a weapon. You're in that moment thinking that's the safe thing to do to keep your car. But to be honest, like, what is the main goal here? Getting out. You don't know what's going on. Get your family away from it. Call the cops, let them do their thing. And he's like, well, but we're these big, bad, strong men, and there's two of us. Why would we not do that? Well, and that was a really good part of the book too, because that's why I started fighting in college, was for self-defense, and just, I was like, hey, I want to really become a man when I'm in college. Like, let's start fighting. And I really enjoyed it. For 3 years, it was the best training that I've ever done of any sport, period.
Oh, I bet.
And when you get in the ring, man, like, there's no other adrenaline. I've never felt anything like it. Like, instantly, you're out of breath. Instantly, you're out of energy. And that's why you train so hard.
Especially when you get hit.
Oh, man.
I mean,
you got to get hit. You're reacting, and that the guy that's hitting you is going to hit you again if you don't. You know what I mean?
The book, was this like, hey, I found out I'm having a boy. I Googled books about raising boys.
I actually read some of these when I was mentoring young men. So like, I was doing YMI, Youth Mentoring Initiative, and I was mentoring some young boys before I found out I was going to be a dad of a boy. But yeah, I've been reading a lot more books about how to raise men.
It's been a long time since I've read an entire book, and it was like, dang it, that was a stinker. Because so many books I read are recommended to me by people I trust. Yeah, I hate that feeling.
Yeah, we haven't had that yet with the podcast.
Not yet.
Luckily.
That's going to be rough when we do, though.
And by the way,
the whole book.
We're reading through Made in America right now, Sam Walton. And it's another great one.
It's
awesome.
so good.
Yeah, no Gladiator.
That'll be an interesting one, because we all grew, like, I want to say grew up, but I mean, the books that we've read for a long time together have always been like businessy books. Mm-hmm. And although it's autobiographical.
Yes.
But there's a ton of business concepts to talk about, and it's just going to be interesting how we handle
business concepts, ton of family dynamic,
family stuff.
There's some really good
really
stuff
good. Let's see here.
So this is fun. So talked about what the movie makes you feel and what happens afterwards. We were talking about the Da Vinci Code, because you love the Da Vinci Code, and when he wrote the book and the movies came out, there was actually religions started. Like, people started cult religions based off the content. When Fight Club came out, a gentleman's fight club was started in Menlo Park, California in 2000, had members from mostly high-tech industry. And following the film's release, there was like...
It doesn't surprise me
dozens of fight clubs that started across America.
Well, and then
which is probably what they were trying to avoid with some of the stuff that, like, Rosie and
Well, and even in like a lot of the Christian circles, there's men's groups that they're not fighting, but they'll call it Fight Club.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm familiar with one. I've been.
It's like a whole movement.
Yes.
I didn't know that for sure, but I was watching this, and one of my next notes was about how he's building this army of people, right? And you've got this very cult-like group, right? With hazing, with manipulation, right? There's just
they make their people stay out on the porch.
There's so many similarities to just cults of all kinds, and people want to be a part of it because they want to be a part of, like, we long to be a part of something, bigger than ourselves. And if all we are doing, and who were all of these people? Well, they were the people who, it's one of the quotes that I wrote down, but it's the people who take out your garbage, the people who do your ambulance, the people who are serving you at or making your dinner.
The cooks behind the window.
Cooks, those kinds of things.
Dude, when they all nod to him when he's... and he goes, keep that... What does he tell the waiter?
Clam chowder.
The clam chowder.
Yeah.
Only
clean food, please.
Clean food, please.
I would not
Stay away
recommend the
from
clam chowder.
But yeah, what...
But my point is that, like, if you're just waking up, going to work, making your money, living paycheck to paycheck, you're not a part of anything.
Yeah.
Besides yourself.
Yeah.
It's very easy how you could fall into this. Somebody says, hey, come to this thing with me.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is
You've done
shit.
You've done a lot of research on cults versus like religions and communities. Like cult. I would have to think that the very easy tell of a cult is the followers don't question the leader about anything, because like they come in there every time Norton says something, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is what we're supposed to do, and they're like, they just follow him blindly. Whereas, like, if you follow like the Christian faith, which all three of us do, like we're taught to question and search and learn, like, versus, in Educated, we learned the dad did not want you to read the Book of Mormon, did not want you to read, we wanted you to like worship the book, but don't learn about it, right? Yeah, and I feel like those cults, they just follow blindly.
Well, even when Robert Paulson dies, they're all so bought in that even though the good part of the narrator, Jack or whatever we're calling him, even though the good part of him was like, guys, this is a real person. This is Robert Paulson. They're all trying to figure out, okay, how does this work?
Yeah, how does this work within the rules he's already given us?
Within what we've been saying. And then they literally create it on the spot. The guy from Mindhunter, by the way, he's like, yeah, I understand. In our death, we have a name. And it's exactly what you're saying, is that nothing that prophet or leader or whoever says... it can be questioned.
He gets on all the flights trying to find Tyler, and he walks in on all the chefs and the prep crew from the bar getting ready, and they're just chanting, his name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah. Dude, that's a hidden gem. That's a deep track.
I got genuine We've all seen Whiplash? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Marcus, have you seen Whiplash?
Oh, love it.
Okay. Very much Whiplash vibes during the veterinarian scene where he takes the guy out back that was, I want to say he was probably running a liquor store or a gas station, and he holds the gun to his back of his head. He's like, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
It's like, that dude, yes, his life is never going to be different. He probably is going to go back to school, like, but it's the same thing with Whiplash where it's like, where's the line? And obviously that's over the line, but you can't argue with some immediate action that was probably taken on Homeboy's part of, I'm wasting my life working at a gas station, and now I've got reason to freaking go after it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily have to get super political, but I feel like we saw that with Trump, right? When he almost got killed.
Yeah.
Right? He is inches away from dying. And then, a week later or whatever, has to go to the Republican National Convention. And he was different there, where he was just thanking a lot of people, and it was about his family and all sorts of things, versus it being another coronation of Trump. It was interesting.
What did was it J.D. Vance's book where Mamaw calls it golden time?
Yeah. That was Alan Alda's. It was Alan Alda's book, because he almost dies.
Yeah, he almost dies. He calls
golden time is time after you almost die.
The crew, anytime it's after 12 hours or whatever, it's called golden time because you're making time and a half or double. If the set is like, hey, we're going to keep filming, so you guys.
That's a great callback. I forgot about that.
It's golden time. You're like, dude, I'm not bonus, but.
Did I tell you guys I had that moment after Rulin passed? So Rulin, a buddy of ours, passed away on a Monday, and on Wednesday, I was driving home and all chaos. Like Remy was a week old and just screaming his butt off. The two olders were messing with the 4-year-old and they were laughing and she was crying and we had music trying to drown the whole thing out. And I was just driving in complete zen. Normally I'd be losing my mind, but I was just thinking, his kids don't have this.
Yeah.
Like, this is... So I totally understand that concept where it's like, put things in perspective. You wonder why it takes something like that to put things in perspective. Like we should truly, it's hard to walk around in total bliss all the time. Like there is tough things about life.
Yeah, Bible talks about like a wise man counting his days.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if you knew the day, you'd think about that a lot more when you're like getting upset about things. Or getting all worked up.
Yeah, because there's still day to day. There's still life.
You might be more urgent about getting things accomplished as well. Right? Which I think. And I think that's what Tyler is trying to get at here.
Yeah.
It's like, we got to go.
Yeah.
You got to do something with your life.
Yeah. And then there's the that's a risky way to live too, is just on constant adrenaline of never chilling out and not being on the go and making everything urgent. Gosh, life's so hard. Jeez.
Last big one I had was just watching the last scene. All these buildings are falling, and I'm assuming what's New York. And I was like, man, this was 2 years before 9/11.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching these buildings fall down.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it was 2006 or so when I watched this movie for the first time. But I don't think that, 19-year-old Marcus could appreciate that in the same way that 37-year-old Marcus is watching that and thinking, man,
well,
I bet they don't make that movie that way after 9/11.
Here's the thing, though. Like, that was right before one of the lines he talks about. So the guy finds the paper in the printer, his boss, and he brings it in, and he's like, the first rule of Fight Club is, and his monologue, Edward Norton's monologue, he goes off and says, maybe some crazy guy is going to come up here and shoot up the whole office. That line was right before Columbine. And so nothing like that had really happened yet. And Columbine, like the testing of this was right around that time, because you make a movie for an entire year. Yeah. Then you start testing it in some different groups and stuff. And there was like a lot of things like that right before 9/11 that, this movie was pretty timely.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, like what Osama bin Laden, what were they trying to do, right? Like they went after the World Trade Center because they said, hey, if we can destroy this, if we can destroy capitalism, we can destroy the financial systems that are happening within America, it'll be all chaos. Right? And then we can rise, Allah can be honored. He can show up.
You can make the argument that quite the opposite happened in the next 10-year period.
Oh, the opposite did happen, but I'm just saying that was at least part of what they were trying to do. Well, they wanted to go destroy the Pentagon, right? Yep. They wanted to destroy the financial center of the universe in the World Trade Center.
Yeah, not just the country. Yeah.
And I mean that's kind of what Tyler's trying to do here.
He was trying to reset everything to zero. You destroy credit card debt, we're all equal again.
Yeah. He was probably in a bunch of credit card debt buying all that stuff from IKEA all the time.
Dude, shout out IKEA though. When you're a young single, it's good stuff.
Dude, it's still fun. The best thing about IKEA, in my opinion?
Well, I don't know what you're going to say, but are you going to say the childcare? Because they literally have childcare.
Nope, I wasn't going to say childcare or food. I was going to say the carts. All 4 wheels spin.
All 4 wheels do spin.
And it is so much fun going through IKEA with all 4 wheels that spin. Oh,
yeah.
Because I am a child.
Yeah. I'm spinning.
I'm like spinning that sucker all the time. And if the kids are with us and they're riding around on that thing, I have so much fun.
Though, if you've ever hung out with Rem, if you're with him long enough, he's going to ask, what we're eating next.
Listen, if I was going to take Rem to a store, it better have food. Dude, because otherwise I'm just going to be annoyed.
The Swedish meatballs are very, they're very good for eating them at a furniture store. And they're good in any other situation. They're good, but they're very good for eating them while buying a futon. Oh, they're very good.
You know who invented? You know, it was funny. We're a little off topic, but you know who invented bringing food to convenience stores?
Sam Walton.
Sam Walton.
Yeah, man.
With that ice cream, the little ice cream chip.
Dude, they tried everything. I can't wait for that episode. That's gonna be fun.
There's a lot of.
What are we on? I got some stuff to get to.
So we're still on.
I'm ready for quotes whenever.
But yeah, what else you got?
Oh, we're on quotes.
I'm ready for quotes, but
we've not officially moved on to quotes yet.
I thought some funny. So here's a funny thing: when he's trying to pee, and Edward Norton's look at him, he's like, "Don't look, I can't go when you look." So he pours a glass of water next to him so he can pee. I've done that. I've literally done that. So
I can't remember the last situation I was in where I was like, I have to pee right now. I have to make myself pee right now.
Do you guys pee in pools?
For me, it was when the Super Bowl was here in 2012, and there was this long line. You had to wait, and then I get there, and I've got like performance anxiety, and I feel like everybody's waiting on me, and it's
there's
like,
no
oh
blockers,
no, I've got to.
just...
And if you can't go, then you're gonna have to wait for another like 45 minutes. That was.
So I do remember when I got my, when you get life insurance, you do a pee test for stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there's a nurse at my house that came to my house, and she can't leave without this pee test.
Oh yeah.
I'm like 30 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do.
She has to watch?
No, it's just to wait. She can't leave without my urine sample.
You had pee anxiety and you couldn't even go in the other room to get rid of it?
No, he just didn't. He just couldn't.
I just couldn't pee.
Oh, you just couldn't pee.
What are you talking about?
I thought you had anxiety. Like, he's talking about performance anxiety. I thought you had the same thing.
Oh, you at a urinal?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's got people staring at him.
People are all there. People are waiting in line.
I was envisioning a porta potty.
The lines, no, the lines like so it's urinals stacked up next to each other, right? And it took like 45 minutes to get there, and there's people waiting, and they all have to pee. Everybody's been drinking down there by the Super Bowl. I mean, I was nervous. I'm standing there like, I've been standing here too long. I need to pee sooner or later.
Have you ever peed at Notre Dame Stadium?
Oh, I got a trick for you guys.
You know what I'm talking about? The urinals, it's just one long urinal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's no
just
number
like
of spots.
The troughs
just like at IMS is like that.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I got a trick for you guys. Just get out your cell phone, because all it is you're thinking about them watching you. The second you get your cell phone and you check a text, the floodgates open.
There you go. Practical advice from the cover.
You're welcome. If you have more advice, email us at the cover
at gmail.com.
The cover pod.
Oh yeah.
Right?
The cover pod?
The cover pod.
The cover pod at gmail.com.
Rumor has it our social media is getting ramped up this week.
Ooh.
We're getting close. I think
we have a week left, right?
Week
and a half.
For some reason I wrote down, you can feel dreams, and this is probably similar. What do you guys think that note was about? because have you guys ever?
It's like a Matthew McConaughey situation.
You've woken up from a dream, and you're like out of breath. Like you weren't running, but your body thinks you were out of breath.
I will say this: the last 2 nights, I've had the weirdest dreams, and I have woke up like convinced that they just happened.
That there's like a 30-second period where I'm like, I can't believe Riley's gonna kill me. I can't believe I did this.
I'm in trouble.
So nothing. You guys? Okay.
No,
good.
have no idea what that no means. You guys want to know who's gonna play who?
Well, it might have meant just because every time that he's sleeping is when he's Tyler, so he doesn't know if he's dreaming or not.
Yes,
would be my guess.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely what you meant.
Got it. Okay.
But
that's what I was saying.
Yeah. You guys want to know who was cued to play who? So who is going to be Jack and who is going to be Tyler Durden?
Sure.
This is 99.
This is 99. So
was Denzel one of them? I'm just saying 99.
These a couple of the characters that were going to play the narrator, we've talked about a lot on this show.
McConaughey.
Leo's a good guess. Fun fact, I think I read this in IMDb, but Martin Scorsese...
He was probably pretty young still.
Martin Scorsese told Leo... This is such a weird thing to know. Martin Scorsese told Leo that Fight Club is going to be this generation's cult movie. I don't know why those two were
wow.
talking about it. Maybe they both missed the bar on it or something like that. No, Matt Damon and Sean Penn both.
Yeah, that
were
makes
considered
sense. That makes sense.
And either one of them could have done a good job.
I think so. For the narrator part? Yeah.
And then Mr. Gladiator himself turned down the role of Tyler Durden. And I think he would have done a good job.
Would have done a good job.
But
it would have been very different.
It would have been very different. He wouldn't have been as cool. And that's the whole thing about Brad Pitt in this movie. He was the cool guy. It's pretty funny when he pulls off in the convertible and you think he's got the cool car. And then 5 seconds later, the guy's like, you stole my car.
Yeah, but what's so funny is the narrator doesn't see
He doesn't see that part.
Yeah,
so he's like, where's your car?
Everybody wanted Russell Crowe right then.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man, but yeah, he wouldn't have, and I'm assuming here, but I haven't seen Russell Crowe be as quirky and weird and out there as Brad Pitt was in this movie. Like that? No?
Well, that's why I said it would have been
You think
different.
he was quirky and weird?
No.
Brad Pitt?
In this movie, yes, just his wardrobe, how out there he was willing to be. Like,
Yeah.
I
don't know,
for sure think Russell Crowe could have done it. I just think it would have been a different take on Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I think it would have been
great.
good.
Yeah. He would have done good. It would have been a completely different movie. That's what it's really
He
hard.
wouldn't have been able to do A Beautiful Mind, though.
I was thinking about this. It's really hard to take movies that we love so much. I mean, we're doing movies we love. It's really hard to think about them differently.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, if there's a movie that sucked, all three of us are the kind of guys that are like, how would we have made this movie better?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it would be interesting to see who turned down
That's a
the
fun
movies.
question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the most compelling character change that I think would have been really interesting.
is it Marla?
Guess who turned down Marla?
Julia Roberts.
Angelina Jolie.
No, that would have been interesting. Angelina Jolie would have been interesting. She could have played it dark. Who'd you say? Julia Roberts?
I was just
No.
thinking about the time period more
No?
than anything.
Any other guesses?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, interesting.
And
Whoa.
She could have done that.
turned
This was
it down.
early on her,
She
right?
turned it down. Yeah, this would have been right around the time she was doing Sweet Home Alabama, which would have been quite drastic.
Wow.
But she turned it down because it was too dark. But I really...
Reese could have done it.
I think she could have done a really interesting Marla.
I'm a big Helena fan, though. I think she's great. I think she's phenomenal.
It totally makes sense why she's with Tim Burton.
Oh, yeah.
She's creepy.
She's
Those
weird.
She's
two
creepy.
make sense.
We ready for quotes?
There would never be a movie.
Yeah, I
Can
guess
you
it
imagine?
does.
Can you imagine her looking at a script and being like, "That's too dark"?
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter. I mean, that'd be unbelievable.
Her and Tim Burton are together, married.
I think they're married.
So
Or they
it's
were.
unclear, and I haven't done enough research on this, but I don't know that they are married. I think they live on the same block and raise 2 children that they have together, but I don't think that they're
Man,
married.
that's so wild. That's so wild.
I will verify that before spreading rumors on this podcast.
Yeah. When it comes to celebrity gossip, I'm the worst person to ask.
That's good. That's a good trait.
They're not real people, so we could just say whatever we want.
Quotes. The groups. It's cheaper than a movie, and there's free coffee.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? With a gun barrel between your teeth, you only speak in vowels.
That was right.
At the very beginning,
I
I,
wanna
was
know if
like,
this
"Man,
is-
what a way to open!"
I don't know if this is true.
Wait, have either of you guys had a gun? Have you ever had a gun like either pulled on you or like threatened to pull on you?
No. Have you?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, dude. You guys haven't heard the Walmart story?
No.
No, but do we
You're
even
like
change
my
the
best,
rating of this
you're
show?
my best friends. No, okay. So I'm in Evansville.
Oh, okay.
I'm in I'm in Evansville. I have to cross like 3 or 4 lanes of traffic very quickly to get over to the left-hand turn lane.
Is this on Green River?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, no, sorry. This is the Lloyd Expressway.
The Lloyd.
So I'm getting off at Green River and then going over to Burkhart, and so it's very fast that I've got to get over this many lanes of traffic.
Yep.
But I make it over, and I'm gonna turn left, and then I'm almost immediately turning right to go into Walmart, and I get over there. There's these 2 guys who pull up next to me, and they're looking at me, like in this truck. They're just looking at me, giving me the look. So me being me, I just kind of smile at him and wave. He waves. I smile at him. He waves. I wave, and I don't really know what to do. So they're left of me. I'm on the right. We both turn. There's 2 turn lanes, and then I have to almost immediately turn right. They get behind me and follow me into Walmart.
So this is car. This car.
The car.
You're still in the car.
Follow me into the parking lot of Walmart. So I'm driving in the parking lot.
Do you know they're following you?
I'm like, look, it's Walmart. Like, a lot of people go to Walmart.
Yep.
So I think they're following me at this point, but I also think that I'm kind of in my own head.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I pass a few different open spots, and I'm like, man, they're still behind me. Like, you're being stupid. And I do the dumbest thing you could possibly do in this scenario.
Park in the back.
And I park. No, but I parked in between 2 vehicles. Like, I had nowhere to go.
Can't get out.
Yeah, nowhere to go. So then they box me in, and guy gets out of the passenger side, and he comes over with this expletive rant about how I cut him off and all these things. And I'm just, again, stupid me. Roll my window down. So now I'm sitting here, rolled window down. He's standing up, and and he's throwing all kinds of expletives about how I cut him off and all these things. And I'm like, hey man, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't mean to. I apologize. I was wrong. All these things. And then he's like, you're right. You were wrong. Blah, 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 blah. And then at some point, I don't know, we went back and forth. And at some point, he's like lifts up his shirt and he's like, you know what this is? And I was like, I look at it and I'm like, you're not going to shoot me in a Walmart parking lot.
You said this to him?
I said this to him. I said, you're not going to shoot me in a Walmart parking lot, which was probably, again, very stupid, like thinking this through afterwards. Luckily, whoever was in the truck said that there was a policeman coming, right?
Oh
and so,
gosh.
so he just jumps in the truck and leaves, like, right after I said this.
People
to
are
him.
just unhinged.
And oh man, I'll remember this for the rest of my life.
Would benefit from a fight club.
Yeah.
Well,
Let it out.
maybe.
Yeah, they would benefit from a fight club.
But yeah, I looked him in
So
the
we're
face.
pro Fight Club is what we got from this movie.
I looked him in the face and I said, "You're not going to shoot me in a Walmart parking lot."
Is that one of your quotes?
It is now. No, it was. Is there truth to this quote? Life insurance pays out triple if you die on a business trip.
I don't know, but when he says it, I'm like, why do you care? You're not leaving it to anybody.
But does it?
No way. No way.
I don't know. Maybe there's something to it.
You can swallow a pint of blood before you get sick.
That might be true.
No.
Is that like the what's the?
Especially if it's a pint of your own blood that you're losing.
That's where he's sitting there and he smiles like this.
Yeah.
You can drink your own urine like 7 times before it's
Not
toxic or something. Right?
I don't know. That was in Better Call Saul though.
Yeah.
It was also in one of those books I want to do, which is Between a Rock and a Hard Place.
Mm. Oh yeah.
The things you own end up owning you. You may have said that one already
That's
too.
a good one. Can I get this icon in cornflower blue? That one made me laugh so hard.
I thought that was funny too because they talked about the cornflower
blue tie. Yeah.
Marla, the big tourist, her lie reflected my lie.
Oh man, how funny is that montage scene where he's going? So he found the groups and now he's sleeping and he's euphoric.
Yes.
But then she ruins it because she's coming to all of them. So like the montage goes from him being so happy to sitting there with a scowl on his face, just staring at Marla at all these meetings. Yep. I laughed so hard at that part.
Yeah, the quote before that is "Babies don't sleep this well."
Yes.
After he sleeps for the first time
I was like,
forever.
what baby are you talking about?
Do you remember when Tyler is like, why are you so freaking bent on controlling everything? Just let go. And they're in the car. And he finds like, all right. And he lets go of the wheel and it just starts slowly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then they hit and they get in a car wreck. Nobody dies. And Tyler gets out and goes, we just had a near life experience.
Yeah, a near life experience. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
How about, where's that? Oh, by the end of the first month, I didn't miss TV.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
I thought that was interesting. So we did a month with no TV, other than watching movies for this podcast.
Sorry.
And I will tell you, I missed TV. My kids would say the same.
So we started this school year of Sunday night when it's bedtime until Friday when you get home from school, no screens.
That's what we're doing too.
And we may have got it from you guys.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well, here's the deal. That's great when the kids are at school from 8 to 4.
Yeah.
Today, being Labor Day, I turn on the TV and I'm holding a baby, and I'm like, I wanted to hold this whiny baby because I wanted to sit in this chair, and when you're holding the baby, you get to watch whatever you want to watch.
Yeah, totally.
And I turn on TV, and Riley's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm about to watch TV. She's like, well, it's Monday. And I'm like...
By the way, we stretched ours.
How many excuses were you looking for in that moment?
Rose was like, why do you get to watch TV? I'm like, my rules are different.
Only Daddy speaks that way.
And then finally, I'm like, I wanted to be like, you know what? Your mom watches TV while you're at school all day on Monday. But I just shut it off and said, I guess we're just going to sit here and find a game.
Silence.
Yeah.
Except for the baby who's crying.
We definitely stretched ours this weekend. We told him we were going to at the beginning of the weekend, but
I know we're on quotes, but this is just wild to me. So the writer, there's a lot of fun facts about the writer, right? Because you're right, the movie was made so quickly after the novel.
Yep.
Chuck Palahniuk is the guy's name. Revealed that when he wrote the book, he didn't actually know that Tyler and the narrator were the same person until he was 2/3 of the way through writing the story.
Whoa.
no.
Right? Because that's like the biggest part of the whole movie.
Wow.
Is that he creates this character out of his head. Now, explain to me this. Why does shooting your jaw remove the crazy part of your brain that thinks you're schizophrenic?
I don't know.
That's movie magic. That's the only movie magic
Living
part.
through that, right?
Huh?
Living.
Oh, he can live through that.
You
If
can
you
live through
shot-
that for
you
sure.
shot through your jaw.
So you're
It's
saying
pretty nasty,
that was
though.
on purpose, shooting at that
Yeah,
angle.
I think
right?
so.
Maybe it's just a sobering, extremely sobering moment.
So I think it's a
I
reset
can
of the
accept
brain.
that.
I think it's a reset of the
To
brain.
get shot,
It's the thing that he's been trying to do this whole
he's
time.
trying to reset his brain.
He's trying to experience death in some way. So who experiences death? Tyler does. He's resetting it by sending a bullet through his face.
So it's kind of like if a song is stuck in your head, if you listen to the song, it's gone.
That does not work.
That,
for me.
I don't think that works.
That does not work for me. I've heard that too.
It doesn't work.
So this one relates to what we're talking about here. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0.
Yes,
Oh, that's a good.
that's a
one.
good one.
I love that.
That's a really
I feel like you could use that in a lot of different scenarios.
I've never forgotten this one, even when I was a kid. Now a question of etiquette. As I pass, do I give her the butt or the crotch?
No, but do you notice he gives Tyler the butt, and then he gives the stewardess the crotch
Yeah.
on his way to the bathroom? Yeah,
Equal-
Oh man,
equal
at church, I really gave Brett the butt
He
the
did.
other day.
he did, which is not
That's
a
great.
hard thing
That's great,
for
guys.
Marcus to do.
No, not
Yeah.
that difficult. How about this quote? I mean, I can't believe.
By the way, you sat down next to us with this huge purse and diaper bag, and your wife just never joined you.
No,
So
yeah.
you just sat down with a purse for no reason.
Well, she was in the baby room. She was like, I'm gonna nurse Ezra. And then I was like, oh man, he fell asleep, and she's just sitting in that room. And if you've never, like, the baby room is
Yep.
it's
It's
dark,
pretty
and
cush.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and she can watch everything, and
Yeah.
so I knew she was just sitting in there. So I ended up taking it to her.
that TV will pick up local channels, by the way.
I know
I'm just kidding. I don't know that.
it
but good
will.
that
You
know.
can. It has like Apple TV, and you can do all the things. Anyway,
How was service? It was great.
how about this quote? You guys haven't brought it up yet. You know what I'm going to bring up? Relates to another podcast we did. Run, Forrest, run.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I did notice that. That was great.
There was I didn't write it down, but his monologue right before Lou shows up, the owner of the bar, and he's like, "What are you guys doing in my basement, in my bar?"
The monologue where he's like, "I see a lot of new faces."
Yes, Tyler's big speech. The whole thing was, no, it's not when he does all 8 rules of Fight Club. I don't think.
No, that's early on.
Okay,
When
so
Lou's come
yeah.
down, he's mad that
When he
there's
sees it, I
something-
see a whole,
okay.
but some of you guys have been breaking the first rule of Fight Club.
Yeah.
That whole speech was pretty great.
But to that point, though, that as a kid, that was really confusing to me. Like, how on earth is this thing going to grow if they're not allowed to talk about it? But what I figured, well, do you have an answer to that? So if they're like, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. The second rule is, and they were encouraging growth. They were encouraging the numbers to grow until it got too big. And he's like, you guys shouldn't have been talking about this all along. What's your answer to that? Because I figured it out as a 35-year-old man, almost 36 tomorrow. I figured out what my answer to that is.
I think people, hey man, what your face is all black and blue messed up. I can't talk about it. But come with me. Come, I'll show you.
I never thought that until yesterday.
So you're saying that is what
really?
you thought as well?
That's what I thought as well. I was like, you know what? You need this. Come with me, but you don't tell anyone
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Because if you told anyone about it,
It's
they'd
like
be like,
discipleship walk.
And which makes the eighth rule, so much cooler. Because you didn't come knowing that you had to fight.
oh yes.
See my point? Like,
Yes.
that's a game changer.
You just walk in the door.
You walk
and
in and
have
you're like,
to
hey,
fight.
I am not going to help group tonight. I'm going to this thing. I have no idea what it is. And you have to fight.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you do in that scenario? Somebody invites you, and then they're like, "Hey, the 8th rule is you have to fight."
If I could hear,
I would fight.
If you're being very real about that question, I would assess how much I trust these guys to stop it if it got out of hand. That's the only thing I would care about.
I would too.
Because
But
Herb
if
Dean,
I trusted people,
who's a ref who basically lets UFC fighters die in the ring. So if Herb was there, I'd be like, nah. But if like I could trust somebody, be like, listen, if I'm tapping, they need to
if I
stop.
got to see a couple fights first or something, yeah I probably would.
I feel like I need a family member to be in trouble for me to really rage out and to be able to fight.
This
someone
is
the way
different
they're
though
fighting.
because they're not fighting for any reason.
It'd be
No,
hard for me
I
to
think
fight
they're
with no
they're trying to
reason.
release all the stuff. I mean, most of those guys are built like the narrator Jack, who hasn't had any, what's that book by John Eldridge? Wild at Heart. He hasn't had any like let out my emotions type.
These are cubicle dudes that are like wailing on each other. Yeah, that's
they
a good
need to
point.
like be their primal selves for a minute.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like Rem's point.
I'm my primal self every dinner, man. I ate that steak with my hands.
I meal prepped a bunch of really good sirloin this week, and every single time it was time to snack, I ended up just cutting off 4 ounces and slivering it.
Cold.
No,
cold
I warmed
steak?
it up, but then I'd like dip it in some yum yum sauce. And that was my
Yeah.
snack like every day. this week.
Yeah, because you're a man and you eat meat. That's what we do.
Time for hidden gems. More quotes.
I got one more quote.
I've got a quote.
Sticking
me up.
feathers up your butt does not make you a chicken. Oh my God, we're good.
I love when he goes, it's called a changeover. The movie goes on and nobody knows.
Yes.
As they're doing a changeover.
Yes.
I love that crap. I think it's awesome.
Okay, but the problem with that one, though, is in the changeover, they were talking about him inserting, pornographic strips, and that was what they were talking about as the changeover. I didn't think
No. He says this at the end, so they bring it back. So they do the changeover with the pornographic strips in the family movies or
And
whatever.
then they bring it back to the next part of the movie.
No. Towards the end, when he's in the hotel room and he's realizing, and right as he passes out, he says, it's called a changeover.
I know the scene you're talking about. What I'm saying is...
It goes on and nobody knows.
But what is the changeover?
No, he's telling you that we've been doing, we told you we were doing this at the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
And we've been doing it the whole time. The movie, the movies continued to go. My life has continued to go even as I've been asleep. Like, I've been Tyler Durden the whole time.
Oh, I understand. So then I was messed up in the movie because I thought he was referring to something that they had said earlier on in the movie, but I was all jacked up.
I loved this line. I thought it was freaking hilarious. You're now firing a gun at your imaginary friend near 400 gallons of nitroglycerin.
Yeah, that was great.
And my last one, I said the first line of the movie. I'll say the last line of the movie. You met me at a very strange time in my life.
Yeah. To Marla.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Great
what
line.
a great. I mean, start to finish, great movie.
Very
really
good.
is.
Very, very, very good. Gems that are hidden.
Not so hidden, but the soap scene just cracks me up. It's one that I always think about when they're
the human weight,
I think
the
it's
human fat?
yeah, the human fat.
Yeah.
So they take carpet, like little mini carpet squares that you would put in front of your, I don't know, shed.
Yep.
And that's how they get over the barbed wire, which I thought was really cool. I was like, oh, all
That
right,
was smart.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, people like actually have like criminals have techniques.
Yeah.
So then they're trying to get this bag of fat over, and it gets ripped, and he's trying to keep it all together, trying to catch it because it's so valuable, the fat. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. There's little scenes like that like just play in my head every once in a while.
So many things, man. When crying between the man boobs of Bob, I found freedom. Babies didn't sleep this well. You guys said that earlier, but I thought that was so funny.
Hidden gem for me, he talks about how companies are going to be naming everything.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium was renamed Heinz Field at one point. And I think that was one of the first stadiums to do something like that. And I remember thinking, that's the dumbest. Name a stadium that isn't like that now.
Yeah.
It's lit.
And they change over the naming rights.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you don't even own the stadium. You own the naming rights for an X amount of years. Like they called that out early. I just had Meatloaf down as a hidden gem right away.
Dude, his power animal is a penguin. I thought that was so funny. He goes, picture your power animal, and it's this penguin that shows up. I don't know why, but I just thought that was hilarious.
So Fincher talks about the fact that David Fincher, I didn't establish this earlier, but that's the director, David Fincher. He talks about how that scene where he's walking through that cold cave as being so out of character for the movie. It's early on, and it's supposed to be the first glimpse of how off the rails this movie is going to get. Yeah. That's why he put it in there.
It's messed up.
But like the writer Chuck wrote this movie because he got beat up at camp and he got bruises on his face. And when he got back, no one really cared enough to know why he had bruises on his face. They just went on living their life.
Oh, interesting.
And so that was the foundation for the character and the whole, Fight Club. He actually thought the movie was better than his book, which is rare.
Wow. What was with the constant brushing of teeth? I need to go back and look. How many times there is a
We gotta get all the blood off.
There is constantly they're brushing their teeth.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it much, but I think they're trying to show the difference between when they're raging crazy men and they're trying to put on their pretty face to go back to work. Also, that created a couple opportunities for them to show that their teeth are missing. He literally pulls one out at one point. That would have been enough for me. I'd be like, all right, this is kind of dumb. We're losing teeth.
I loved when they were going back and forth, and it's like, I'd fight William Shatner or Gandhi.
Yeah, good answer.
Well, that wasn't.
There's like so many different people that
wasn't his first answer.
Well, in
the first scene.
What was his first answer to that question? Who would you fight? You could fight anybody you want. Who would you fight?
Well, a couple scenes before when they ask it, it's a different person. But in that scene, Gandhi is his first
Gandhi's
answer.
the first
Any historical
one.
Figure, any historical figure.
So,
Abraham Lincoln.
Start naming a bunch of. I thought that.
Yeah,
was
Abraham Lincoln was his other one.
I thought Tyler lighting the cigarette next to all the nitro in that same, dude. Like, come on, like that's gotta tell you right there, something's wrong. Because he wouldn't light the cigarette.
He wouldn't do that
next to all the nitro.
He's crazy. Like you could pass for that.
No way.
When one of his goons picks them up from the bar in the car that they're about to just drive off of a cliff, basically, he goes, "Sir, don't worry. Airport parking, long term." Because he stole it. Like, what a great place to steal a car from.
Yeah.
So Jessica's definitely seen this movie before, but I wrote this down on my hidden gems, and I thought it was pretty funny. At some point during the first half of the movie, she watched the first half to 2/3, and I watched the other half to 1/3 today. But she just said, "Guys are so weird."
Yeah.
Because this is a guy movie.
What is the girl equivalent to this movie?
I don't know. Some Bonnet movie, probably.
Like rom-coms.
What
Like
do you
girls can watch Downton Abbey all day, where we can watch this all
No,
day.
I mean, like, what's the girl equivalent to, like, what are females crying out for? Like, this is like, okay, men need this.
I don't understand why my answer isn't good enough for that
Really?
answer.
Well,
Yeah,
I
feeling
agree
prim
with
and
you.
proper. Yeah, classy.
So I was saying
Feeling-
Bonnet movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't get the feeling that those movies are all about girls.
No, like they Hallmark movies. I feel like.
Oh,
like,
that's the better
like,
answer.
like
That's the better.
if I
Bachelorette.
Well, that sucks.
I can't.
That's what
Girls
I
are
just-
weird.
Well, that's what they think. That's what they think when they're watching. And I don't want to paint with that broad of a brush. But the reality is that when I sit and watch a Hallmark movie, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, that is one where
can't-
when I scream out what is about to happen, I'm right 99%.
100% of the
So
time
is
you're right.
She and you and everyone else.
It's so frustrating. It's not fun to watch. It's not a good movie. They know it's not a good movie, and they can't stop watching it.
And
right?
they
People
all-
pay knowing that they're going to be bamboozled. Name that movie.
Oh, I know it.
Greatest Showman.
Yes.
Oh, it's
P.T. Barnum.
But anyway, I would say that, like,
I
if you're
never
talking
really
about just
liked
like
your show,
chick movies.
But the people did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good line. We should do this. So Brad Pitt said he did not want his parents to see the movie, but he couldn't convince them not to watch it. So they ended up watching it, but they turn it off at what scene? What scene where they're like, okay, we can't take any more of this? You guys know?
Okay, does it have to do with Brad?
Yep.
Brad
Well,
and
probably
Yep.
him and Helena. No.
No.
Him peeing in the clam chowder?
No.
Oh.
No, it's violent.
Oh.
I wonder if our listeners are getting it right now and they're just
I
crying
don't.
out to
I
you.
don't. I can't.
Hit us.
The chemical burn.
Oh.
The chemical burn was
yeah.
was what got him. They changed their minds and
Oh, wow.
didn't want to watch anymore.
So have they never seen the end?
Oh, I don't know. They might have watched it, but they regret watching it after
They
after
still don't
seeing
know
that.
it's one guy.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like I've seen this. I don't want to sound like I don't know. It's you're numb to it after. Well, you're numb to it, like after you've seen the movie a few times, like something like that. You're like, oh, that sucks, but like that's not a reason.
Yeah,
why
it
you're
didn't.
Not
It
gonna
didn't
watch
even register with me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Him beating up Jared Leto.
yeah. 'Cause
That's
he wanted
rough.
to see something.
That was rough.
something beautiful destroyed.
Yeah, something rough. So I don't know if you guys caught this. It is when he's walking through the house and all the guys are there working. He's like, "Where are all you guys from?" Like kind of the first time he's realizing, "Oh,
Norton?
this is yes."
Yeah.
He's realizing like, "Oh, this is a big thing." He goes in his room, shuts the door, and it says "human sacrifices."
Yeah, he closes the door and.
But
says
it's
human
all these
sacrifices.
IDs. So I'm assuming there's assignments to go hold somebody at gunpoint and find out what their dream is, keep their license, and that's their human sacrifice. No. What are you saying?
It's the IDs of everybody that's in the house.
So you think they're
So remember,
They're-
they're
They are
no
the
name.
sacrifice.
They are
They
the-
have no
they-
name.
so they are
Oh,
human
they are.
sacrifice.
Yeah, their human is sacrificed. Now they are
Got
part
it.
of the machine.
Got it. Oh, great.
Good catch.
But I did like that part. I just, yeah, that really good, really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good hidden gem.
It's a
Human
great
sacrifice.
hidden gem.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's so many more that we could bring up.
it's all mine. That's my
David
list.
David Fincher said that there is a Starbucks cup in every scene of Fight Club.
Oh,
So,
Starbucks was a huge contributor, and they were originally supposed to be the coffee house that was destroyed by that big ball.
yeah.
But they didn't like the optics of that, so they are in a lot of scenes, but not that one. They changed it to like a coffee bean or something like
Well,
that.
they said. I mean, yeah, they said. What's interesting is that I don't actually remember seeing a Starbucks coffee cup
Yeah.
in any scene.
the very beginning.
But when they mentioned the chain coffee shop, I literally thought of Starbucks.
Yeah.
And I don't even care who they went into. I was like, oh, they're talking about
Yeah.
Starbucks.
I could not find. So I saw that fun fact at the end of the movie, and I haven't gone back and like verified it. But in the scene I was watching, I could not find it.
Dude, how awesome. We're going to
Well,
destroy a
scene-
piece of corporate art and take out a and
Yeah.
take out a chain coffee shop at the same time.
So, scene is a pretty broad word, though. I'm wondering what a director, when he says or she says scene,
Yeah.
what they're thinking versus.
I'm thinking of like every setting.
It
Yeah.
would be every scene.
So, very, very beginning, I think there was they maybe had like a new, like, oh, this CGI we have is awesome. It doesn't fit this movie, but we gotta use it. When he first is in the office and throws something away, the camera kind of zooms in and out through a garbage can, and there's a Starbucks cup in that garbage can, but it's all CGI. And if like now in 2024, you can look and be like, hey, that's not real. But like at the moment, it was like, wow, this is really cool. It made me think like, wow, they really wanted to use this CGI, but there wasn't a good spot for it, so they decided we're just going to use it.
It's possible.
Right here. Yeah.
Was this movie made pretty quick? Kind of like when we talked about Dallas Buyers Club or something?
No, but it was a $55 million budget, and they went back to the main guy that was dropping 25 mil and said they needed 12 more, and he said no and walked. And the only thing that convinced him to not only come back with his 25, but also give the additional 12 is they started sending him dailies. Can you imagine getting dailies of this movie? Like, yeah, I'll give 12 more. Like, you kidding me? Like,
So they
there's
just
been-
started sending them 5-minute blips.
yeah, whatever
Whatever
they
they were
filming
doing
that
that
day.
day.
So he walked, and they went from I need 12 more to I need 37 more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, in that moment, so
That
so
stuff happens a
no,
lot.
because like in that moment, you're like, okay, I guess we don't need 12, but we definitely need the 25 back.
Yeah.
But then the guy's like, after he's converted to like, this is awesome. Like, how much more do you need to make it even better? Is kind of the way I interpreted that. It's such a weird. It's like the movie business is. There's so much that goes into it. You watch a movie and you're like, man, that sucked. And you don't know that the only reason it sucked is because they didn't spend a couple $1 million more to make it like that much better. Like you talked about the Peanut Butter Falcon, how they had that stupid throw at the end of the movie. Like there's things like that in movies where like, man, what a miss. This movie
That movie's really
was like
good,
$1 million away from being awesome. Anyway, that's my
movie's good.
tangent.
The throw. Well, we're ready to rate.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm giving it an 8, and it's really hard not to give it a 9, but it's an 8 for me.
Surprising. 9 for me.
I'll give it an 8.9.
That's where I'm like, it's a good.
I really
it's a
like.
good 8.
I knew I liked Fight Club, but I haven't watched it in a long time, and watching it again, I think it's one of those that probably if you watched it once a decade, you'd watch it differently each time.
Sure.
And I watched it a lot differently as a 37-year-old than as a 19-year-old.
But it's interesting to think about how like some people will cling to that and like will take different things from it. So like if you're a teenager and you're trying to prove your parents wrong and whatever, you're like, oh yeah, anarchy is actually
this
pretty
idea
cool.
of like anarchy,
Yeah.
populism. I mean, so popular right now especially on college campuses and things. I mean, and beyond. It's just really interesting.
Well,
What's next, Rem? Are you
it's my birthday.
prepared to tell us what your
My birthday pick. So, gentlemen, for my birthday pick, we are going to go back to
Lion King?
Northern Africa, Northwestern Africa to
Was I right?
Casablanca.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Never seen it.
One of my favorites,
Surprised. Really surprised.
Humphrey Bogart. It is a classic. It's on many websites and Hubawatties as regardless of best movie of all time.
Oh wow.
It's got probably 10 of the greatest movie quotes of all time. You're in for.
You're gonna
Have
know.
you seen
Yeah,
it?
you're gonna know some of the quotes for
That's
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I use some of them, and I don't even know why I use them.
Probably.
Play it again, Sam.
Casablanca or Casablanca?
Casablanca. Casablanca. It is one of my favorites, and every time I watch it, I'm reminded why it's one of my favorites.
What
Really good.
year
And
are
I
we
haven't watched
talking
it I haven't watched it in a very long time. So
It's
I'm
like
excited.
black and white.
Yeah.
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 I would say my favorite movie to watch of all time is also black and white. It's a Wonderful Life.
We have the colored version.
Well, I do think
Threw a
that
bunch
I
of
was
color
thinking about
into
this. I do think that we should do like a Christmas thing for December.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We could even potentially find like books that are Christmas-ish,
Yeah.
like
Christmas.
Skipping Christmas.
With,
Yeah.
Christmas with the Cranks is
I don't know
skipping
if you've
Christmas.
heard of it. The Bible. Good one. So
We'll just,
Might
we
be
got-
long. That's-
We'll just
that's pretty
review.
tough to-
We'll just review the book of John.
we've
Why
got.
wouldn't it be Luke?
Yeah, Luke would be better. For,
Come on, man, that
Luke
was a
would be
miss.
better
Exactly.
for the Christmas story.
I knew that. We got Sam Walton coming up and Casablanca.
1942,
best.
everybody. Going back.
1932.
1942.
42.
Right in the middle of World War II.
I mean, this seems pretty bold to release a movie.
This is what Hitler was doing.
Life goes on, huh?
Hitler was releasing a lot of movies.
Dude, I've gotten deeper into those Olympics since the episode because of Malcolm Gladwell's 9.
What episode? Our greatest episode of all time, you mean?
The Boys in the Boat.
Boys in the Boat.
Dude, it's
is that the best one in terms of people listens?
It's right behind Remember the Titans, but when all is said and done, that's going to be...
there are some evil, nasty humans on the American side
During
as well.
World War II?
During those Olympics pre-World War II. The Berlin Olympics.
Interesting.
There's a California real estate take that I think you'd love. That's the only reason the Olympics were in LA before they were in Berlin. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right.
All right, that's our show. See you next time. Peace.